I'm Dr. Melissa Longo. Welcome to Everyday Rockstar Moms, where every episode I'll interview moms just like you who are rocking it in their homes, raising their children, managing their households, building their careers, working on their relationships, dealing with challenges, finding success, trying to find balance, and themselves along the way. Every episode, you'll hear from women just like you of all ages and stages of motherhood, sharing their stories, life experiences, and leaving you with practical tips, ideas, and inspiration to help you rock your life. Hey there, Rockstar Moms. Here is another little quickie for you today. Maybe not the quickie you were hoping for, but in any event, let's make sure that you're thinking some positive thoughts about who you are today as a mother. You've heard me ask on the podcast, most of the guests, you've heard me ask them, do you think women can have it all? And I would say, I think all of them so far have said, yeah, absolutely. But there's always been a but. And I think the consensus has generally been, and this may change because there's still lots of women that I'm going to interview, is that yes, women can have it all. But you need to start by defining, we all need to start by defining what the all is, and then set realistic expectations for what that's going to look like at whatever stage of motherhood we are in. So I want you to ask yourself today, based on the ages of your children, where your career is at, if you have a career, where your relationship status is at, other family dynamics that might be going on, if you have aging parents, if you what's going on with your home environment, so many other things that can be going on in your life. But based on where you're at today, what would having it all look like for you? Because, so many women say, oh, it's not possible. Women can't have it all. But yet there's many women, myself included, that would say, yeah, I have it all. Sure. Now let me qualify that. Sure. Am I at 100% at the top of my game in my career? I think I'm pretty close, but could I be better? Absolutely. I could always get stronger with my skills. I can take another course. I can learn more. I can learn how to communicate better. There's so much potential to learn for me professionally, but at what cost? I mean, I could be at a different seminar every weekend if I wanted to, but what would that look like then with the relationship I would have with my children? So no, I would say professionally, I'm 9 out of 10. I'm not a 10 out of 10 right now with where I want to be. Could I be busier? Could my business be busier? Sure. Could I work more hours? Sure. There's opportunities constantly for me, for all of us. But, my decision factor always comes back to, I have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. And I want to be present. I want to be there for them. And if I were to do certain things with my career, it would take me away from them more. And so right now, I'm going to put that on hold. And right now, I'm going to focus on exactly what I want right now. And looking at the big picture, looking at the fact that things are going to be different in 5 years, in 10 years, when the boys get older. So giving myself some realistic expectations. Now, could I be more physically fit? Could I eat 100% clean every single day? Absolutely. There's always a little bit more that I could do. However, I always come back to at what expense? There are some things that I'm absolutely 100% not willing to compromise on with regards to my lifestyle values. But one of the things that I'm not willing to compromise on is being present for my boys. My boys are 10 and 14. They're not babies, they're not toddlers, but their needs are distinctly different. And their need of my attention is still 100% there when they're around. It's just different. I've thought about this at length and I don't know how else to describe it. The love you have for your children as they get older is just different. It just evolves and changes. And I remember them as babies and toddlers. I don't remember the day-to-day. I don't remember the minutia, but I remember it being exhausting. And I remember moments and times in parenting, in mothering them, that were difficult. And times when I was frustrated and times when I was tired. And I have those vague memories, but as your children grow, you love them and appreciate them in the different stages that they go through. And it's such an amazing, wonderful experience. So I'm not willing to compromise going through that experience with them for the next few years. I feel like 14 years with my oldest son has gone by extremely fast, and I'm sure many of you mothers can understand that. And so when I look at my life in the big picture, motherhood is the hard years, not the hard years, but the years where they're really dependent on you for their emotional growth and guidance and their physical needs is so small and it's so short. And some days it feels like we're putting everything on hold and it feels like it's so exhausting. But really, there is so much time when they have grown and gone off to do their own things, when they're not as physically dependent on your time. And if you're feeling stuck right now, that there's tons of things that excite you in things that you want to contribute to the world and your work, and you can't do it right now, you're putting it on hold because you're being a mom, that's okay. You're going to have that time again later. So what I'm challenging you to do today is to take a minute and maybe a couple, pour yourself a glass of wine or make yourself a cup of tea or just sit somewhere quietly with whatever beverage you choose. And I want you to think about, what does having it all look like today? Not in the big picture and not comparing yourself to anyone else, because what's right for you in your family life is uniquely you. And it might mean for you that you want to get back to work because you really miss the dynamic of achieving things or the whatever rewards your work was giving you if you loved it. It may mean that you never want to go back to work and you want to stay with your kids. Whatever that looks like for you is unique, and I want you to honor that. But I want you to critically think about, what are your goals for yourself? What do you want for your body, for your balance, for your sense of balance, for your being, for your quiet time, for your relationship, for your parenting? What do you want to look back at and think of your life as a mother, as a woman was like? So many times, when I've been coached in different things, and even the people that I work with in the practice, we want to look at you as a whole person. You're not just a woman who's being a mom. You're a woman who has their own needs and desires for contribution, for feeling good about yourself, for feeling sexy, for taking care of yourself physically, for enjoying some of your own hobbies and interests that you had before you had your children. So I want you to take some time today and think about what that looks like for you. And what would a perfect situation look like? Because you know what? When you do this, it may just be that only tweaking a few things in your day-to-day life will give you some of that. And then instead of carrying around this weight, feeling like, oh, you can't keep up or you're overwhelmed and, oh, women can't have it all, you're suddenly going to see your life in a very different light. And you're going to realize that exactly where you are and exactly what you're doing is where you want to be right now. So that's it for today. A super quick little tidbit there of hopefully a tiny bit of inspiration for you. And I encourage you to do the action steps, to share what you feel with other people, not only to generate some conversation around this topic, but also to help you, build some relationships of your own and stay accountable to some of the things that you want. Certainly coaching, I'm sure we'll do a little chat about coaching and mentorship and why I feel that is extremely valuable to all of us, and all the different coaches I've worked at and continue to work with in my life. But coaches and people that can keep you accountable help us make changes in our life, and they often help give us perspective. I'm sure you all have someone wise in your life. Maybe it's a good girlfriend. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's your partner that sees things from a different perspective than you feeling everything that you're feeling, because obviously we filter everything with our own emotions. And it's not always, we're very subjective. And so sometimes having someone see things from a different perspective and someone who can remind us of what we want to achieve can be impeccable and incredible, for in helping us achieve what we want. So take some time, think about who you'd want to share these ideas with, and build your own support team. If there's any way I can help you, certainly get in touch. Get on our Facebook community. Email me directly if you'd like at drm@drmelissalongo.com. And thanks for being here, and thanks for listening. And we look forward to more adventures and ideas with everyday rockstar moms just like you. See you next time.